biggest backyard cricket innings. I lived in the country and my mates, the Shepherd brothers, lived in Maffra and they were good. So I reckon we would play during a test match, and I reckon I batted during a whole session at one point, probably as a 15-year-old. It was hot. Mark Waugh was making his first test 100 against England in Adelaide, and I reckon I batted through the whole session, posted 150 myself. Just stock standard, really. Backyard footy was by myself. I had two sisters that weren't into footy, so even if I missed the goals, they'd just sort of sneak in. So sort of Dunstall territory, I reckon maybe sort of 1254-ish in the backyard career, but never get tackled in the backyard, never have to do the hard stuff in the backyard. So I was good in the backyard, but once we got out to the real stuff, probably not so good. My biggest rival in the backyard was definitely Peter Shepherd. Man lived in Maffra and had this nasty in-swing because you'd tape up the ball and you'd have electric wicky and about 5 slips in, and the lemon tree would be on your hip, and over the fence on the offside was a real nasty neighbour who didn't return the ball. So as soon as you hit it over cover, you were out. If you clipped it off your hip, straight into the lemon tree, you're out. So we would spend hours after hours playing cricket out there. So I would have a wall and throw the tennis ball against the wall and then have runs all around the place. And it was always, no matter how long I'd be playing for, it always seemed to come down to Alan Border needing 10 off the last over off Curtly Ambrose, and he'd dig a couple of Yorkers in early, but somehow the great Alan Border off the last ball would just smoke one through the covers. I was right-handed, he was left-handed. It was always AB though holding up the bat at the end of the day. My form in the backyard is not as sharp as it once was. I think my son is obsessed with cricket, and you go through that period where from 3, 4, 5, it's hard to play with him because he's not going very well, and then 6, 7, 8, you start to have a better game. 9 and 10, it becomes competitive, and all of a sudden 11, he starts spanking you, and it's a real dint to the ego because you've taught him everything he knows and now he's using it to beat you. So I've probably lost a yard of pace, and now he just lays on the front foot and goes, "Save your legs, Dad," which can get a bit frustrating, but I guess that's life. My favourite sledge in the backyard is to my son. He's 11, and just to tell him he's not big enough, strong enough or good enough, which, you know, he fires back. He goes, "You're too old, you're too slow." So I think that's why I've got such fond memories of playing in the backyard. As I said, I used to play in the backyard by myself, but now to be able to play with my son, playing cricket, and my daughter, who can nail a netball into the hoop, which I really struggle with, it's something that I really, really enjoy. Well, I learnt to commentate by commentating myself in the backyard. So I was always a very, very skinny Jason Dunstall with number 19 on my back, and he was my hero growing up. So again, it's bizarre that I commentate footy with him, but it'd always be Dunstall on the lead. So it'd be Brereton at mark 60 out. Brereton goes long down towards Dunstall, and he'd get it on the lead, and then he'd be about 30 out on an angle. Siren sounds, grand final day, and it was always against Geelong. Dunstall goes back, pressure on him, and I was about this high and this skinny as Dunstall. Dunstall from 40 on the angle. The Hawks are the premiers! And I could do that day in, day out. I would have given everything for a Coolabah turf lawn, because I had a really scratchy backyard, and you have to get the old Victor lawnmower out and mow it down towards Mum's clothesline, where Mum and Dad would have to put the clothes out, and there'd be an area where we'd bat that just was rock hard. It was like batting on an Indian surface. So to have a Coolabah turf lawn like this one here, to go out and feel like you're walking out at the MCG, would have been outstanding. The rabbits at my place probably would have caused it a few problems, but it would have definitely been a wonderful upgrade on what I had in country Victoria.